And by Ford, who invites you to see all the better ideas for 73 at your Ford dealer. And by the Sun Oil Company and your nearby Sunoco dealer. And by Foundation for Full Service Banks, on behalf of the full service banks in your community.
The pride of Pittsburgh, magnificent Three Rivers Stadium, home of the Pittsburgh Steelers, who today are hosting the Minnesota Vikings in a game that each team thinks it must win. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jack Drees. With me is George Connor. Minnesota Vikings, 4 in a row now. Figure they are rolling if it's not too late, but there is one little evidence of concern, George. Even though they won the game, the defense giving up 41 points to Los Angeles.
They certainly did, but Bud Grant said you have to play the hand that you're dealt. They came from behind. Tarkenton threw for 4, and they got their offense going. The defense will have a tough time against Pittsburgh today. They have a great running game, averaging 188 yards on the ground per game. They've got 2 great runners, and Franco Harris, averaging 6.3 yards per carry. He's a rookie from Penn State, and John Fuqua, another great runner.
And we'll be ready for the start of today's game in just a moment.
Ella Fitzgerald. She's attempting to shatter a glass with her amplified voice. She did it. You are now hearing the Memorex cassette tape recording we just made of Ella. Now you'll see a glass shatter again. But is it Ella or is it Memorex?
I'll never tell.
Buy 2 90-minute cassettes, get 1 free at participating dealers.
Tijuana Smalls, get on board, get on board. Ride that aromatic aeroplane. The taste of freedom calls. Tijuana Smalls.
You don't have to be a big gun to smoke them. Tijuana Smalls Aromatic, the taste of freedom. And you don't have to inhale them to like them.
The taste of freedom calls.
Leaving your lights on for over 3 hours in freezing cold, that's murder. But that's what we did with these cars. Let's see if any of them can start. One can. The one with the Sears Die-Hard. The Die-Hard, extra power to start your car when most batteries won't. Sold only at Sears.
Now the introduction of the players has been concluded. The band is formed on the field. This is the Ambridge High School band for the national anthem. We'll have the reenactment of the toss of the coin as the co-captains from either team head out on the field. The toss was won by the Minnesota Vikings, so they will get their first crack at putting the ball on offense. Toss officially completed a half hour before kickoff. Minnesota Vikings will be starting Ed Marinero, their fine rookie from Cornell, and Oscar Reed at running backs, a pair that does not shape up as strongly in the attack department on the ground as does the awesome duo of the Pittsburgh Steelers. But now our national anthem. We're mentioning the matchup of running attacks. Marinaro and Reed not as strong in the physical running department as are Franco Harris and John Fuqua, but they do have speed to the outside. The balance swings in the other direction when you compare Terry Bradshaw with a veteran Fran Tarkenton. Terry Bradshaw coming on fast. Both these quarterbacks have the ability, which is often displayed, to do some running. And the first test, of course, will be the Minnesota offense against the Pittsburgh defense.
Jack, I would like to point out that this is tartan turf they're playing on, and Pittsburgh has not lost a game here this year. They're 5-0 at home. And I think a home field advantage is really something here today in this big game.
There, the deep man, John Gilliam, is number 42. And with him down there, number 40, is Charlie West. Kickoff by Roy Girella. He's teeing up the ball at the 40-yard line. There is truly, as Bruce Roberts and Jim Finks were saying, a Super Bowl air in this stadium today, for this is a critical contest. A loss for the Minnesota Vikings would pretty much put them out of it. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, tied with the Cleveland Browns for the top spot in the AFC Central Division, are likewise trying to husband their losses and come through with what would be a first ever for these Pittsburgh Steelers, a divisional championship. We have a swirling wind of some strength, and twice now it has blown the ball off the kicking tee.
Jack, the wind blowing the ball off the tee, it could be a factor in this game if either team has to resort to a lot of passing.
Now let's see if the ball will stay up long enough for Girella to kick it. He does. Gilliam about 2 yards deep in the end zone. Here he comes out to the 10, the 15, still on his feet at the 20 and breaks loose. Out to the 40, one man, Girella, the kicker, bounces him out of bounds at the 46-yard line, and John Gilliam has given him great field position.
There was a missed tackle there. Larry Brown, number 87. You'll see it coming up. It's a good move by Gilliam. There's the missed tackle right there. Gilliam with good speed. It's a fine return back to the 45-yard line.
Ball at the 45, 1st and 10 for Minnesota. Ed Marinaro, Oscar Reed, the running backs. And the ball is given to Oscar Reed. He is dropped by L.C. Greenwood, the left end, number 68. That was Jack Ham, the left side linebacker, who popped through there and forced him into a sudden change of direction and took away some of his speed. So it's a yard pickup. It's at the 46. It'll be 2nd down and 9. That's Jack Ham, number 59 on defense for Pittsburgh. He'll be a young man to watch today. He's just in his 2nd year, but he's been drawing rave notices as a linebacker. There's 5 interceptions. Oscar Reed tries it again straight ahead. And again, that fine defensive front four of the Steelers clogs up their path. Ben McGee, number 60, was the principal tackler, the right tackle.
Last week, the Steeler defense was hurt. Andy Russell, the right linebacker, number 34, there you see him. He's an 8-year veteran from Missouri. He was forced out of the Cleveland game and hurt the Pittsburgh defense. He's operating on a bad ankle, but he says he's all right at game time.
Gene Washington goes out wide to the left. Gene Washington also operating on a bad foot. Gilliam is the wide receiver to the right, and Tarkenton's going to the air. 3rd and 8. There's the throw to Gilliam. Complete. Nope. Incomplete. As he was hit by Mike Wagner and started down, he lost track of the football and it bobbled out of his grasp. He did not have it long enough to be ruled a completed pass. And the Minnesota Vikings have been held on downs by the Pittsburgh Steelers in the opening foray. So it's 4th down now. Line of scrimmage, their own 47. Deep men heading back are Glenn Edwards, and Glenn Edwards back there all alone. Mike Eyeshide to do the punting for Minnesota. Low pass to center. Eyeshide gets it away. Edwards makes the catch on the 17-yard line. Is caught and thrown down at the 18. So it's a return of 1 yard, and it'll be 1st and 10 for Pittsburgh at that point. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is prohibited. Oh, it's the first crack at it now for the Pittsburgh Steelers. There is no score in the game. They have it 1st and 10 at their 18-yard line. Franco Harris, John Fuqua, the running backs. Fuqua 32, or Fuqua 33, Harris 32. And here is big Franco Harris powering into the line, veering to the left, getting up to around the 22-yard line before Jim Marshall, number 70, the right end for the Vikings, brings him down. Ball spotted at the 21.
Franco Harris, a rookie from Penn State, has 4 games in a row over 100 yards and 5 out of his last 6 games. He's a strong runner.
Second down, about 7 yards to go. Terry Bradshaw at quarterback. Fuqua drops the ball, and the Minnesota Vikings have got it. Fumble recovery by Carl Eller, number 81.
Here it is again. He didn't get the ball. He doesn't have control of it. There you see it slip away from Fuqua. There's Carl Eller, 81. Gets down to the bottom of that pile and makes the recovery for the Minnesota Vikings.
So the Minnesota Vikings get the first big break of the game. A costly turnover by the Pittsburgh Steelers has given Minnesota the ball just 20 yards away. And Marinaro in motion. Tarkenton throws to Marinaro. Cutting back against the grain, getting a block on the corner man from Grady Alderman, but it wasn't enough. Dwight White, the right end, number 78 for the Steelers, was there to haul him down after a short gain. They'll spot it at the 17-yard line. A pickup of 3. It'll be 2nd and 7. No score in the game. Minnesota won the toss, took the kickoff, failed to make a first down, punted to the Steelers, and on the second play, they fumbled it to the Vikings on the 20, and Minnesota now has it 2nd and 7 on the 17. Gilliam wide to the right. John Henderson is in at wide receiver now, and he split out wide to the left. I formation in the backfield. Tarkenton rolling right, hurried, and cannot make the connection to Oscar Reed. Jack Ham, that linebacker we were talking about, was in there putting the pressure on Fran Tarkenton and took something off the pass.
Well, that was a good play by Ham and the defensive lineman. They didn't go for the play-action fake, knowing that Tarkenton likes to roll out. They continued through to the passer and made him throw a little bit quicker than he wanted to. He had his man wide open.
They're down 7 yards to go. Minnesota on the Pittsburgh 17. Tarkenton straight back this time. There's his peg. Incomplete, intended for Marinaro. Batted aside by Mean Joe Green. Their big 6-foot 4-inch left tackle, number 75. There is the magnificent Allegheny Club, one of the social centers of this stadium, for those who like to watch their football in comfort and style. Now a field goal attempt by Fred Cox from 24 yards away. He's got it in there, and Minnesota has drawn first blood. The Vikings are in the lead 3-0 over the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we'll be back with Minnesota's kickoff in just a moment.
You parents ought to know something. Football's not just for us fathers anymore.
That's right. Now the whole family's enjoying NFL Action Player Stamps from Sunoco. Great to collect and trade. You get 9 stamps free every time you stop at a participating Sunoco station. While you're there, buy a Stamp Saver album. Regular edition, 89 cents. Deluxe, $2.49. Get NFL Action Player Stamps free at Sunoco.
Us kids love them.
I'm Jim Mooney, and this is my wife, Joyce. We live in Bangor, Maine, where it gets awful cold. Joyce is a waitress. Sometimes she works late, and when she gets to her car, I want to be sure it starts. So we use dry Sunoco gasoline. Sunoco, especially in very cold weather, makes a big difference as far as starting the car and the whole operation of it.
Fill up with dry Sunoco gasoline.
All winter long, your car starts like it's summertime. Dry Sunoco gasoline.
Now Minnesota to kick off. Fred Cox has the ball up on the 40. Number 35 is Steve Davis. Number 26 is Preston Pearson. They are the deep men for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Fred Cox gives the ball a low squibbing kick that's moving over near the sidelines, makes it out of bounds. Minnesota will have to kick off again, accepting a 5-yard penalty. Here's a first period score. The New York Giants have jumped in front of the Eagles 7-0. Ball coming back now, and Fred Cox will have to kick it off from the 35-yard line. With the wind swirling around down there and blowing the ball off the kicking tee twice for Roy Girello when he was attempting the opening kickoff, I would suspect that the wind might have caught that ball just as Cox was riding into it, because it was a very poor kick off to the side. It may have been blown out just as he was about ready to tee it up.
Well, although Cox likes to squib those kicks and get them rolling, and this prevents a long return.
Steve Davis, 35. Preston Pearson, 26. The deep men for the Steelers. Moving up a little now with a 5-yard penalty. He wraps another low one that's taken by one of the up men. And he brings it out to around the 48-yard line. It was Rocky Blyer who was up on the blocking screen, who gathered in that line drive shot and takes it to the 48.
Here's another short kick. Watch Rocky Blyer from Notre Dame there. Grab it. He's a spark plug. Vietnam War veteran. Makes a good return almost to midfield.
Now Pittsburgh has an opportunity. They're practically at the 50-yard line, and Terry Bradshaw goes to the air right now. His attempt to hit Frank Lewis went off his fingertips out of bounds. It'll be 2nd and 10. First period score, Buffalo leading Cleveland 7-0. Remember, Pittsburgh and Cleveland are tied for the AFC Central Division leadership. Each has won 7, lost 3. Frank Lewis coming out wide to the left once again. Ron Shanklin, the leading pass receiver, is the wide receiver to the right. 2nd down and 10. Bradshaw goes for Shanklin, and did he get it? No, he had stepped out of bounds as he caught the ball, and it is incomplete. Charlie West was the cornerback covering on the play for Minnesota. 3rd and 10 at the 48-yard line. Neither team has yet recorded a first down.
Terry Bradshaw throwing those 2 quick short sideline passes. It shows that he respects the deep zone of this Minnesota defense. You can see how deep the cornerbacks are playing in Minnesota.
He's got to go fairly deep on this one. It's 3rd and 10. He sends it down the middle, and it winds up incomplete. Jeff Seaman almost got it after it was blocked by Charlie West.
From the end zone, watch Bradshaw look to his left, come back to the right. He almost just barely gets this pass off. There's Eller in there. Good pass coverage there. And watch number 50, Jeff Seaman, almost get the ball, but Shanklin runs into him.
Now in punt formation with Charlie West, the deep man. He's going to take it on the 12. Gets to the 15, runs into trouble along the 20, and is dumped out of bounds by Glenn Edwards. Number 27 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It'll be 1st and 10, the area of the 20-yard line for Minnesota. The score is 3-0. The Vikings are out in front. With the score, Minnesota 3 and Pittsburgh nothing. Let's pause for a moment.
The solid 73 Ford Torino can it ride over this course of 2x4 smoothly enough to keep a tightrope walker balanced on top? High wire specialist Bill Couch is about to find out on a tightrope rigged to Torino's body. He's counting on Torino's suspension to soak up the bumps and keep them safely on that wire. Bill signals, and they're off. Those wheels are taking quite a pounding, but Bill isn't, as Torino's remarkable suspension does its job. The 1973 Ford Torino, A solid midsize that gives you confidence on the road. Incredibly smooth riding. Stable, strong, and quiet. Because it's a Ford. The new 1973 Ford Torino at your Ford dealers now. Ford Torino, the solid midsize.
Jack Drees with George Connor as Minnesota takes the ball 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Tarkenton has completed 1 pass out of 4 attempts. Neither team has a first down. Minnesota has the lead 3-0. This is Marinaro, who's popping through a hole in the line to get it out over the 25, where linebacker Jack Ham brought him down. It'll be spotted at the 26-yard line. Veteran Andy Russell, the right side linebacker, also pinching in on the stop for the Steelers.
Jack, that was a good call from Tarkenton. It could have been an audible at the line of scrimmage because the Pittsburgh defense was overshifted to the left, the offensive right, and he picked the right hole there.
So it is now 2nd down and 4 yards to go. They've got the ball at the 26-yard line. John Henderson, wide receiver to the right. Apparently that foot is bothering Gene Washington once again. He started. Penalty flags go down. Looked like Milt Sunday was a little early on his charge for Minnesota. Andy Russell, defensive captain, linebacker, number 34, discussing the options with referee Fred Swearingen. And the option he takes is to accept the penalty. We'll put the ball back at the 21-yard line. It'll still be 2nd down, but it'll be 2nd down now with 9 yards to go. Illegal motion charged against the Minnesota Vikings. Second and long yardage. Anderson wide to the right. Williams has come over to the right side as well, and now they send Oscar Reed in motion to the right. Everybody's over there. The throw is to Reed on the line of scrimmage. Picked up about a yard on the play. Mike Wagner, the safety man, was right there. Pass completed at the 21. He was grounded at the 22. It's 3rd and 8. First period, Denver has taken a 7-0 lead over Atlanta.
Jack, that was a safety valve pass. The deep men were covered very, very well, and Fran just got rid of it in time.
3rd and long. Tarkenton back, has time, throws out here to Marinaro. He's at the 26. The ball is fumbled, picked up downfield by Gilliam, and he makes it across the 50. Minnesota has the ball on the Pittsburgh 46.
Well, look at that again. Watch Tarkenton roll to his left. Throw back to his right. There it is to Marinaro. Watch him get hit here. He gets hit hard, and that ball rolls upfield, but Gilliam, very alert, rolled right into his hands, picked it up, made a nice gain out of it.
So it'll be 1st down for the Minnesota Vikings. They've got it now 47 yards away. Tarkenton looking long, in trouble, finally has to unload the ball to Marinaro. He was hunting for John Henderson deep. Ben McGee, the right tackle, number 60, was in there hurrying the effort of Tarkenton, and he hit Marinaro for another 1st down that puts the ball at the Pittsburgh 34-yard line. These are the first 1st downs recorded in the game, and we've had 2 of them in a row. First period score, the Giants have jumped out in front of Philadelphia now by a 14-0 margin. Here the score is 3-0, and the Vikings are in front. Little less than 8 minutes to play in the first quarter. Tarkenton back again, plenty of time. Downfield receivers covered, is flipped out to Marinaro, goes through his hands, incomplete. Be 2nd and 10 at the 34. Now Dave Osborne is trotting onto the field. He'll replace Marinaro in the backfield for the Minnesota Vikings. There he is on the left of your screen for a moment, 41.
It appears that the Minnesota Vikings and Fran Tarkenton have decided they can't run against this Pittsburgh defense, and they're just come out throwing.
Tarkenton is 4 for 8 at the moment. Gilliam goes out wide to the right. John Henderson wide to the left. Osborne is the deep back in the eye. Ball goes to Oscar Reed. He spins loose from an attempted tackle behind the line and picks up the gain that takes the ball down to around the 28. There it was Andy Russell making the grab.
Watch the right guard pull. Milt Sunday ran right in behind him, although it didn't fool Mean Joe Green, number 75. The back was just too quick for him.
So it was a 6-yard pickup. It's 3rd down and 4 yards to go now for the Vikings. William wide right, Henderson wide left. Running backs are split out. That's Osborne in motion to the left. And Tarkenton looking to throw. He needs 4. He flips one out to Oscar Reed, who's got the first down and is out of bounds at the 17-yard line.
Pretty tough play to cover, Jack. Jack Ham, 59, the left linebacker, has to respect the running ability of Fran Tarkenton. He comes up, he throws it. If he lays back, Tarkenton runs. He needs help from the defensive secondary.
Minnesota now with their 3rd first down. They've picked up all the first downs by either team in this game on this drive, which began back at the 20-yard line. Wide receivers spread out to either side. 1st and 10, 17-yard line. Osborne in motion. And on a delay, it's Oscar Reed. He kicks that ball down to around the 12, 13-yard line, where Jack Ham was in there once again to make the stopper for the Pittsburgh Steelers. First period. Buffalo now setting the scene for a great upset, 10-0.
Yes, they are. They just scored on a 13-yard run by O.J. Simpson, who's having a great year for Buffalo.
2nd down and 5. Boy, the winter wear is much in evidence in the crowd here at Three Rivers Stadium. It's a chilly day, not really cold, but kind of a dampness in the air that gets to you after a while. Osborne looking for somewhere to go, finds a little bit of running room, is able to get inside the 10 down to around the 8-yard line. A little bit short of a first down. It'll be 3rd and about 1. And the banners are much in evidence, and the Vikings hiking. A poet in the crowd. 3-0 Minnesota. They've been hiking pretty good on this drive. Started back on their own 20-yard line. They've got it 3rd and 1 now. At the 8-yard line. Oscar Reed bangs into that line. That'll be right around a first down. John Rouser coming up quickly from his cornerback position and sliding in on the play, who was the principal stopper on it. Digging out the pile, and they are going to request a measurement on this one. Chains are being brought in. We've got a good look at it. And there it is, about a foot to go. Oh, it's 4th down, about a foot. They look over to the sideline to see what Bud Grant wants to do, and it looks like they're going to go. Bill Brown is coming in to replace Oscar Reed. Now they're toughening up the forward line. Ernie Holmes a tackle, Craig Hanneman an end. Jack Ham and Andy Russell, linebackers, are coming out.
Bill Brown's got good size. He's a good blocker. He can be used as a blocker, or he gets that extra yardage. He usually goes over the top. There he is, number 30, 34-year-old Bill Brown.
Leading 3-0. They're going to take their shot. Brown bangs into the line, is caught along the line and thrown back. They were ready for Mr. Brown.
Watch that Steeler defense come in at that offensive line. There's Bill Brown. Boom, he's really hit there. They're going to measure for it.
Steelers have stopped it. Pittsburgh stops a 4th down, 1-foot try by the Minnesota Vikings. Now, this wasn't all that big a gamble for Minnesota because by giving up the ball there, they are in the same breath putting the Steelers in very poor field position. And with the score, Minnesota 3 and Pittsburgh nothing, let's pause for a moment.
My name is Betty Sims. You know, it's funny, most people run from winter. It's not always fun driving in the winter, but it's something I have to do. I sell ski fashions in the Rocky Mountain states, and I have to travel throughout Colorado, Wyoming, Utah, and New Mexico all alone, except with my dog, Tracy. She's pretty good company, and I have to travel a lot of times when there's great powder on the slopes, but that means plenty of snow on the road. I've been in plenty of situations where I've had to stop, and also when I've had to get going. A girl can't always just get out and push. Firestone found out about how much driving I do in the winter and put 4 town and countries on for me to test.
The Firestone all-position town and country. With 3 separate tread sections and room for 112 ice-gripping studs. They're designed for the front wheels, too, and available for most imported cars. At your Firestone dealer or store, the people tire for winter.
They say almost nothing will stop them, and you know they're right.
I mentioned that in failing the 4th down try, they gave the Steelers bad field position, but you must remember they've got the runners to improve it in Fuqua and Franco Harris. Franco Harris gets the call. He's got running room to the outside, and he has that ball up to a point just short of the 15-yard line where Alan Page ushered him out of bounds.
Franco Harris, 6'2", 230. Watch the power this man has. To see Alan Page, 88, come over there. Good block. Gets by the linebacker, and watch him carry Alan Page. And not many backs in the National Football League can do that, Jack.
Now the ball is at the 13-yard line. 2nd down and about 4 yards to go with a 6-yard pickup on that one. Bradshaw looking over that defense, gives it this time to Fuqua, and Fuqua punching into the line is able to get that one out to pretty close to a 1st down. Jeff Seaman, the fine rookie middle linebacker, coming in to make the stop for Minnesota. And they're going to have to measure to see whether or not this was made. 1st quarter, the Packers have moved in front of Washington 3-0.
They did it on a field goal by Chester Markall, and that field goal was 52 yards.
Pittsburgh has a 1st down. First and 10 for the Steelers at the 18-yard line. Ball not quite at the 18, but in the statistical records of the game, it is credited with being at the 18. When it passes 1-yard line, it is immediately put down for purposes of figuring yardage at the next one. Fuqua again, and he pops into the line, gets over it, and beyond the 20, Jeff Seaman, the middle linebacker, making the stop. A light rain is beginning to fall here in Pittsburgh. They've got the ball now at the 20-yard line, a pickup of 2. Be 2nd down and 8 for the Steelers. The score is 3-0. The Vikings out in front. Took a 4th down gamble on the 7-yard line when they had a foot to go, and the Steelers held. Now they've got the ball at the 20, 2nd and 8. Bradshaw back to throw. He lofts one out to Franco Harris. Harris is at the 20, cutting back, bouncing off tacklers, finally bounced out of bounds near the 25. Paul Krause and Bob Bryant combining to get him out of bounds for Minnesota.
It was pass all the way. Watch the rush that Bradshaw gets. He just arches that ball up there. Great catch here by Franco Harris, the rookie from Penn State. He has good mobility, and he's really strong. Great power running straight ahead.
Not enough for a 1st down. They've got 3 yards more to achieve that. 3rd down and 3. Franco Harris trying for it, but he's clogged up along the line. Jeff Seaman was in there fighting off a blocker. Clogged up the play. Short of a first down. Pittsburgh will have to kick it.
From the end zone, watch Gary Larson, number 77. He gets in there, trips up the interference.
Now Bob Walden is back in punt formation. Charlie West is going back. And low but distant punt will give him an opportunity to run it back. He's back to the 20 and is caught short of the 25. Snowed under as he gets to the 24-yard line. A flag is down. I believe it will be a clipping call against the Vikings. Preliminary signal, clipping against Minnesota. It was inside the 30, so it'll be half the distance to the goal line. Carl Gersbach was guilty of the clipping, and it'll put the ball back at the 11.5-yard line. So we'll call it the 12, and it'll be first down for Minnesota. Now they're starting deep in their own territory. They have a score on the board, a field goal by Fred Cox, and it's 3-0 in favor of the Vikings. 2 minutes and 47 seconds left in the first quarter. Brown and Dave Osborne are the running backs, and it's Brown. He bangs into the line, is hit by Ernie Holmes, the big tackle. Bill Brown, I should say, not Bob Brown. But his forward progress is stopped at the 17-yard line. So it's a pickup of 5. It'll be 2nd and 5 at the 17. Ernie Holmes has come in to replace Ben McGee at right tackle in the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. 2nd and 5. Gets to Bill Brown again. He is slowed initially by Henry Davis. The ball is loose.
Bill Brown, who's stacked up at the line of scrimmage. There goes the ball. Kicked away. There's number 49. Ralph Anderson recovers for the Steelers.
Now the Steelers get a break in the game. They've got the ball on the 12-yard line. They are trailing 3-0. Little less than 2 minutes to play in the first quarter. Franco Harris gets the call. Good block in front of him, and he's in the end zone. That was Bruce Van Dyke, number 66. Who plowed the corner man and opened the way. Franco Harris has scored from 12 yards out, and the Steelers lead.
In slow motion from the end zone. Watch Franco Harris. There's Bruce Van Dyke. What a block he put on Charlie West, and he goes in standing up.
Now Roy Girella on the try for point. That kick is good, and the Steelers have taken the lead with a little better than a minute and a half remaining in this first quarter. Well, while we have a moment, Gunsmoke has a real thriller for you tomorrow night. The story of a man who sets out to avenge the murder of his brother, and when his trail leads to Dodge City at the Kitty, the danger signals go up, and Kitty can send up a pretty good danger signal. Comes a matter for Matt Dillon, so don't miss the excitement on Gunsmoke tomorrow night at 8, 7 Central Time. Now Pittsburgh 7-3 in the lead over the Minnesota Vikings. 1 minute and 37 seconds remaining in the first quarter of the game. And the deep men for Minnesota. John Gilliam is number 42. Charlie West is number 40 nearest us. Roy Girella. Ball teed up at the 40, ready to kick it off. Of crucial importance to each of these teams. Gilliam takes this one 2 yards deep. Out to the 10, 15. Picks up a block, gets to the 25, and that is all she wrote. And Ralph Anderson, who recovered the fumble that gave Pittsburgh the stage setting for their touchdown, made the tackle. Ball at the 26-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Vikings. Fran Tarkenton was a long time in the huddle. Now he's broken it. Here they come. Bill Brown, Dave Osborne still set in there at running backs. Oscar Reed and Ed Marinaro started. Both have been relieved. And too much time. That long strategy session in the huddle didn't leave enough time to make any kind of a count. And 5 yards is marked off for delay of game.
The Steelers are throwing an unbalanced defense. They're over-shifting to their defensive left. And they have Mean Joe Green right on the head of the center, Mick Tinkelhoff. They have their linebacker on the weak side to the outside, and they're just playing strength against strength.
Now it's 1st down and 15 yards to go, and the ball is back at the 21. Bill Brown takes the handoff. His power thrust into the line, can't make much. Caught and thrown back. Got up as far as perhaps the 24.
Watch Mike Wagner, number 23, come up from the safety position. There's your linebacker, 53, Henry Davis, assisted by Mike Wagner. And I'll tell you, Jack, they're really hitting on defense when you can drive Bill Brown flat on his back, going the other direction. That's defense.
The total pickup was 3 yards, so it's 2nd down and 12 yards to go for Minnesota. Now Osborne caught behind the line. Joe Green was in there and really blew that play out.
Watch Joe Green to the corner of your screen on the right side. There you see him. He fights off the block of Ed White and makes a terrific tackle.
And that's the end of the 1st quarter with the score, Pittsburgh 7 and Minnesota 3.
This is the newest copier in the IBM line. As you can see, this plain paper copier lets you feed in originals continuously. And it doesn't keep you waiting around for your copies to appear either. At IBM, we think one of the most important things about a copier is how fast it actually lets you make copies. The new Copier 2 from IBM.
A crop duster's gotta be tough. His equipment's gotta be tough, too. Tom Ormsby uses AC spark plugs. AC's new super ceramic insulator is built tough, tested tough, to keep you going when the going's tough. For quick starts and a smooth-running engine, get AC Fire Ring spark plugs. Original equipment on GM cars.
AC keeps you going when the going's tough.
I'm Ron Johnson of the New York Giants. My job is running the football, and this man here, Jim Thorpe, was the first great star of pro football when he played for the Canton Bulldogs more than 50 years ago. There's been a lot of good running backs since Jim Thorpe, and his statue is just the beginning when you visit the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. There's something for everyone. Why don't you stop in and see? It's open daily throughout the year.
Half of the National Football League. Now we go into the 2nd quarter. The middle linebacker, Henry Davis, has been taken out, and a 5th defensive back, Glenn Edwards, has been put in on a 3rd down, 12 yards to go situation. And long down the middle, John Henderson can't get to it. Penalty flag is down, and it might be an interference call in another area of the field against John Gilliam. John Rouser, the cornerback, was entangled with Gilliam, and it looks like Pittsburgh is going to be nailed with a pass interference call. Not the passing target, but another receiver. And it'll give Minnesota a 1st down on the Pittsburgh 45. Tarkenton has completed 5 out of 9. The score is 7-3 in favor of Pittsburgh over Minnesota. First down on the 45. Dave Osborne, deep reverse on the end around. Gilliam, the wide receiver, going back to the right, and he can never make it back to the line of scrimmage. The play lost a yard. John Rouser making the tackle.
Watch this reverse. Hand off to Osborne. There comes Gilliam. Watch Fran Tarkenton try to block Mean Joe Green. Right there, number 75. No contest. And here comes John Rouser up to make the tackle. I don't think Fran will try that again. Oh, it lost a yard. And it's second down and 11 for the Minnesota Vikings. Henderson coming out wide to the left. Gilliam wide to the right. Osborne trying a quick thrust is tripped up by Joe Green, who had gotten into the backfield. Fell forward across the line and gets it out to the 46-yard line, where it'll be 3rd and 9. He's playing head-to-head with Ed White, who's supposed to be the offensive guard for the Vikings. He's supposed to be one of the strongest men in the league. But I tell you, Joe Green has given him all he wants this afternoon.
Ed Marinaro has been brought back into the running backfield now for the Minnesota Vikings, coming in there, obviously, as yet another pass receiver replacing Osborne. Tarkenton chased by Green. Penalty flag goes down. Looks like it'll be a holding call against Minnesota. His throw to Brown. Not good. Another penalty flag goes down. And it is holding against the Minnesota Vikings. May have been an ineligible receiver downfield on the other call. As L.C. Greenwood charging in, number 68 for Pittsburgh, putting the heat on, and we'll see which of the penalties are going to be in effect. From referee Fred Swarns, and the ball is brought back to the 41.
Good choice, Jack, because they took the one that gave Minnesota the down. They had to use the down up. It's 5 yards, and the down counts, so now it's 4th down. The other way, it would have been 15 yards and no loss of down.
4th down now, and heading back to receive the punt, Glenn Edwards. Mike Ishai dropping deep in the punt formation. The pass, going to have to run it, and kicks on the run. He loops a little ball that's taking a Minnesota roll and getting down to the 21-yard line. So the Minnesota Vikings with a gutty punt by Mike Ishai, who was in the throes of getting hit, and once he starts to run, he's fair game.
Here it is. Running to the outside, and he kicks it left-footed. Amazing, Jack.
So with the score, Pittsburgh 7 and Minnesota 3. Let's pause for a moment.
This is a totally different kind of razor blade. It makes shaving easy. Now, I wouldn't dare do this with an ordinary blade, but Wilkinson has reinvented the razor blade, the bonded blade, bonded permanently at the precise shaving angle and exposure. But don't do it this way. Use the handle that comes with it. It's even easier. Safer, too. The Wilkinson Bonded Shaving System. It makes shaving easy.
Want a beer?
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is really an interesting six-pack. See how it's completely covered? See the ends? Covered.
Mm-hmm.
That's so light won't get in. Light can spoil beer.
Uh-huh.
And this is good beer, so they don't want light messing around with it.
Well, in that case, why don't we turn off the lights?
All right, the Steelers take the ball now. They got it first down, their own 21-yard line. Franco Harris in the slide shift. Fuqua edging up a bit. Those are the two running backs for the Steelers. Straight back goes Terry Bradshaw. Has good protection, going long, and the play is broken up by Jeff Wright when Bob Bryant was waiting to intercept. The target was Frank Lewis, and Bryant had it in his hands, he thought.
Good protection here. You're looking right, looks the defense off. And Bobby Bryant is all set. Watch, to make that interception. Jeff Wright doesn't know he's behind him, and he knocks the ball down.
And, of course, in all fairness, they can't be looking around to see if someone is there to intercept. Well, it was a good play by Jeff Wright, but a bad break for Minnesota. Second quarter, Washington 7-3 over Green Bay.
They've taken the lead on a 2-yard run by Larry Brown.
Second down, 10 yards to go now for the Steelers. Bradshaw back, throws to the outside. Lewis has it. He is caught over there by Bob Bryant and hauled down as he gets that ball up to the 30-yard line. It'll be a little better than a yard short of a first down. 3rd and a yard. And the umbrellas are popping open now through the stands. Rain, maybe a little snow mixed with that, coming down now with fairly good intensity here at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh. 3rd down, better than a yard to go. John Fuqua has the first down as he pops it out to the 32-yard line. Jeff Seaman, the middle linebacker, making the stop.
Here it is. Watch the pulling guard there, number 57. Does a great job. That's Sam Davis, the left guard. Opens up the hole, led by Franco Harris.
A little less than 12 minutes to go in the second quarter. Pittsburgh leading 7-3. Rain is coming down. There are the stats on Bradshaw, 2 out of 6. And he tries to lead Franco Harris with one, but he led him a little too much. Alan Page was putting on the chase on Bradshaw. Pass incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10 at the 32.
And Carl Eller, the defensive left end, seeing pass all the way, dropped off the line and was running right with the intended receiver.
Another score, second quarter. The New York Giants bombing Philadelphia. It's now 24-3.
Yeah, Pete Gogolak just kicked a 25-yard field goal for New York.
Frank Lewis wide to the left. Ron Shanklin is wide to the right. John Fuqua with the handoff. Runs into trouble as he tries it off tackle. The hitter was Jeff Seaman, the middle linebacker. Alan Page, number 88, a factor in breaking up the blocking. Well, the ball now is at the 35-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down and 7 yards to go for Terry Bradshaw. Come in. And Jan Kolb, the left tackle, looked like he may have been guilty of illegal procedure, and that's what the call is against Pittsburgh, coming off that 3-point stance. Fred Swearingen gives us the sign, and it'll be 3rd down now with a little better than 12 yards to go. Line of scrimmage is moved back to the 24-yard line. 7-3, Pittsburgh leading. Little less than 11 minutes to play in the second quarter. Shanklin out wide to the right. Lewis wide to the left. Bradshaw back in trouble and keeps his feet in time to try one to Franco Harris. The pass is incomplete. Carl Eller was number 81 coming in to lower the boom.
Good rush by Minnesota this time. Carl Eller coming in. Bradshaw gets away from him, but tries to hit his back out in the flat. He's almost torn apart there, and it's incomplete pass.
Bobby Bryant and Charlie West have gone deep now as we move into punt formation with Bob Walden back to do the kicking for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Walden drives one down to Charlie West, who has to move back, giving ground to his 23, and penalty flag flies in as he is grounded around the 27-yard line. Sam Davis getting down to make the stop.
Jack, the up back, Bobby Bryant, signaled for a fair catch, and the receiver didn't see it, and I believe that'll be the call.
That's what it is. Yardage marked off back to the 22-yard line. The signal given is delay a game, which is assessed against the back for running with the football after a fair catch signal was given. Minnesota now at their own 22. And with the score, Pittsburgh 7 and Minnesota 3. Let's pause for a moment.
Let's see, we have 12 inns in San Francisco. Which folks? Yes, sir.
Reservation.
Oh, and your valet service. Could they pick up a suit of
Welcome
mine?
to our annual
Great.
Western sales meeting. I have some figures here I'd like to show you.
If we can accomplish tomorrow what we did today, we'll be in great shape.
Today, this Holiday Inn made 463 businessmen a little more efficient by making them a little more relaxed. So next time you travel on business, stay with Holiday Inn, the most accommodating people in the world.
Hello. I'm interrupting your TV picture with good news about color TV. Know what's in back of many TV repairs? Look, chassis tubes. Tubes get hot, weaken with age, and are a leading cause of TV repairs. So RCA takes every chassis tube out of XL100 color TVs. XL100s are 100% solid state, designed for longer life and vivid color. Give chassis tube problems the boot with XL100.
Jack Drees with George Connor at Pittsburgh as the Vikings take over 1st and 10. Ball at their own 22-yard line. Tarkenton rolling out to the right. Now he has to look back, hunting for someone, anyone. Finds Gilliam, the ball off his hands, and incomplete. Mel Blunt was number 47 covering on the play. A rain is falling, and a chill is settling in the air. That ball is going to be a little more difficult to hold. 2nd and 10. We pause 5 seconds for station identification. And we have a look at one puddle forming in the rain. Coming down pretty hard now at Pittsburgh. Minnesota trailing 7-3 behind Pittsburgh. Has its 2nd and 10 at their own 22-yard line. 10.5 minutes to go in the first half. And no luck at all on that one. Shot into the line, picked up by Joe Green and carried back. Second quarter, Washington is 7-3 over the Green Bay Packers.
Jack, and we have a report that Scott Hunter's been taken out of the game. No injury reported, but Taggy, the rookie quarterback from Nebraska, is in for Scott Hunter for Green Bay.
They're down to 9 now for the Minnesota Vikings. Starting backs are back in now, both Oscar Reed and Ed Marinaro. Tarkenton, the pressure on from Joe Green, throws on the run, throws complete to Beasley, his tight end. Beasley powers his way out to almost the 40-yard line, more than enough for a first down on a very big play. Jack Ham, the tackler.
Good rush here. There's Joe Green going to the outside. Great catch there. The defensive back was Ralph Anderson. Beasley out-muscling him for the first down.
1st and 10 now at the 39-yard line. Rolling right, getting away from Joe Green. He hopes. But Green still battling in there, and that pass is out of bounds. Jack Ham intercepting, but intercepting out of bounds. Incomplete.
There's Joe Green chasing out to the flat. That's staying away from him. Milt Sunday. And Jack Ham intercepted, but I believe his foot was out of bounds.
So ruled simply an incomplete pass at second down and 10 at the 39-yard line. Pittsburgh 7, Minnesota 3 in this crucial game between each conference's Central Division contender. Up the middle he goes to his tight end, Beasley again. And Beasley, big and strong, is whirling Ralph Anderson around. They finally blown dead at the 44-yard line. Beasley logs in at 228 pounds. He's 6'3". Looks like forward progress is going to be ruled stopped right at the 45.
With the tremendous pass rush that the front four of Pittsburgh is putting on Fran Tarkenton, I'm surprised, Jack, that he hasn't gone to the screen pass or the draw. He keeps rolling out and looking for the receivers.
Third down now with 4 yards to go. And he pegs one to Marinaro. Marinaro fighting for that first down, and he's got it. He crossed the 50 before he was dropped by Andy Russell, the right side linebacker. Now Minnesota has moved into Steeler territory. They have it 1st and 10 at the Pittsburgh 49. Gilliam coming out wide to the left. John Anderson wide to the right. Gene Washington started at wide receiver, but was taken out after a couple of plays in favor of John Henderson. Washington is troubled by a bruised foot. On the running shot to Oscar Reed. He's through the line quickly and takes that ball to the 41-yard line before Ralph Anderson, the safety man, brought him down.
Good blocking up front. Watch Tingelhoff go through for the middle linebacker, Davis. And Oscar Reed just kind of slithered through there, found the hole, and made good yardage, about 8 yards.
Second down now with a shade better than 2 yards to go for the Vikings. And Reed gets the call again. He powers through for a first down, and Fran Tarkenton has found a path through that tough Pittsburgh defensive wall.
There you see a good block by White there. He takes Holmes all the way in, and that opens up the hole. They keep banging away, and they might have found something there, Jack.
1st and 10 now at the 34-yard line. Pittsburgh is leading 7-3. Oscar Reed wound up way back beyond the 40-yard line. Henry Davis, the middle linebacker, and Dwight White, the right end, combining on the stop, but his forward progress was stopped at the 32.
Tackle the ball!
8 completions in 14 attempts for Fran Tarkenton. Ball now at the 32. It's second down and 8 yards to go. Reed in motion. Tarkenton rolling back in the other direction out to the right side. His peg is behind Marinaro, incomplete. So it's going to be third down and 8. Second quarter, Washington 14, Green Bay 3.
And that score was a 25-yard pass from Kilmer to Jerry Smith.
Little less than 6 minutes to play in the second quarter. 7-3, Pittsburgh out in front. Third and 8 facing Fran Tarkenton. The ball is 32 yards away from the Pittsburgh goal line. Tarkenton straight back, has the protection this time, throws to Gilliam. He has to fight to hold it. And does hold it for a completion down around the 20 for a first down. That was John Rouser, the cornerback, wrestling him for it.
From the end zone, pretty good rush again. I believe the ball was tipped. Let's look and see if it was. Right there. There you saw 63 Ernie Holmes tip the ball, and it actually helped the reception.
First down at the 20-yard line. It's Oscar Reed in motion left. Rolling right is Fran Tarkenton. And he kind of shovels the pass to Ed Marinaro, and Marinaro is run out of bounds at around the 13-yard line by linebacker Jack Ham.
Watch Tarkenton how quickly he gets to the outside. He could have run the ball, but he decides to dump the ball off to Marinaro. He likes those short passes.
Good view of that developing action from the end zone camera. Greg Henneman has replaced L.C. Greenwood at defensive end for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Second down, a shade better than 3 yards to go. Marinaro on the sweep. He's around the corner, inside the 10, down to the 5 before he's finally hauled down. It'll be first and goal to go for Minnesota.
From the end zone again, watch Milt Sunday get to the outside. They blocked to Hanneman. Number 67 just came in the game. Good call by Tarkenton. There's the block by Ed White.
The series started back on Minnesota's 22-yard line. They are running their 14th play right now in this series, and it's first and goal to go from the 5. Marinaro trying the middle, and boy, the middle closed up. Henry Davis and Jack Ham, the linebackers, pinching in, closing the gap. He picked up a yard to the 4.
The regular defensive left end, L.C. Greenwood, number 68, back in there.
Bill Brown has come in, but it is Tarkenton rolling to the right, in trouble. Green is after him. Incomplete, intended for John Henderson. Broken up by Ralph Anderson. And it'll be third and goal to go. L.C. Greenwood was putting the pressure on Fran Tarkenton on the goal line stand. Third down and goal to go from 4 yards away. The score is 7-3. The Pittsburgh Steelers in front of the Minnesota Vikings. A little better than 3.5 minutes to play in the first half. Bill Brown, Ed Marinaro, the running backs. Tarkenton fakes, flips one out to Marinaro. Marinaro in trouble and dropped. Dropped for a loss of 2 yards. And it'll be fourth and goal from the 6.
From the end zone, watch the faking here. Fakes it to Brown, throws out to Marinaro, but Jack Ham, second-year linebacker, there he is, makes a great block for a tackle. He's a second-year man, rated very highly. He's from Penn State.
So the Vikings will attempt to settle for 3 points. Red Cox in to do the kicking. And it is a knock snap from center. The Steelers recover, and they will take it in the area of their 11 or 12-yard line.
Here's the slow motion. Bad snap or a bad hold there by Paul Krause, 22. He can't hang on to the football. Don't see that very often, Jack.
So, with the score, Pittsburgh 7 and Minnesota.
This leading replacement battery has a thick rubber case. The rubber isn't power. It's dead weight. Ford builds the Motorcraft Long Life Premium battery with tough, thin polypropylene.
It costs more, but you get more inside. More plates, more starting power, more reserve power. But which do you want? More case outside or 12 more pounds for power inside? Motorcraft from Ford. Helps keep you off the hook.
Okay, that's quitting time. Let's go get a beer.
Settle down now and gather round now. Miller time is here. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. Miller beer. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. Miller beer. Oh yeah, if you've got the time.
Oh, the Pittsburgh Steelers take it on their own 11-yard line after a muff attempt to tee up the football for a field goal try gives the ball to the Steelers. They still lead 7-3 over Minnesota. Franco Harris looking for room, breaks 2 tackles, a third, and finally is rolled out of bounds by Wally Hilgenberg. Man, that's power running, George. Got that ball out to around the 18-yard line.
And that's why Franco Harris, a rookie from Penn State, is very high in the running for Rookie of the Year honors. Averaging 6.3 yards per carry going into today's game.
And the defensive struggle that has characterized this game, he has thus far a relatively modest total of 31 yards on 5 carries, but that's just about at his average at 6.3 yards per carries, which leads the entire league on running average. The pitch out to John Fuqua is cut back, and he gets out over the 25-yard line for a first down with plenty of change. Gary Larson, the tackle.
This is just a quick pitch with the flanker back, Ron Shanklin, coming in there. Fuqua gets to the outside very quickly. With him there, number 72, Jerry Mullins. Makes a fine cutback there for good yardage and a first down.
First and 10 now at the 26 for the Steelers. Fake to Harris, bootleg back. Now Bradshaw hunting for a target, throws long and into a crowd. It's picked off by Charlie West. Minnesota has the ball on the interception. John McMakin was the target. Minnesota first and 10 now, and they've got the ball at the 50-yard line.
Good play action there. He's got all the time in the world. He's trying to hit John McMakin, and I question that throw. Look at all those white jerseys back there. Bradshaw threw into a crowd there, and West intercepted.
So with the score, Pittsburgh 7 and Minnesota 3, let's pause for a moment.
Skipjacks. That's what we call these boats here in Tillman, Maryland. They're used for dredging oysters. This baby's mine. It's the oldest one around these parts, built 1891. You know who helped me get it? Full Service Bank. They loaned me money to buy it so I could go into business for myself. And pretty soon business was so good that the bank offered me another loan to buy that crabber. Then they helped me pay for special insurance on both boats and showed me a way to handle my money I never would have thought of. That bank really stuck with me. Hey, there's my banker now. Hey, Johnny. Hi, Bart. His bank may look small, but it sure does things in a big way. I guess that's why they call it, a full-service bank.
All across the country, in 14,000 different banks, helping is our business.
Well, the fortunes of this game are flying back and forth. Now on the Charlie West interception, Minnesota has the ball at midfield. Pittsburgh is leading 7-3. Had a little less than 2 minutes to play before the end of the first half. Tarkenton back to throw. Green after him. He flips one over the middle to Ed Marinaro. Marinaro is grounded at the 43-yard line by L.C. Greenwood. And it will be second down and about 3 yards to go for the Minnesota Vikings. This shot into the line by Oscar Reed is right along the line of scrimmage. Joe Green was in on the tackle. It'll be 3rd and 3, no gain on the play. Oh, well, there's a timeout down there. It gives me a chance to say this week the new CBS Tuesday night movies features an intriguing drama of a rather eccentric young man who's bent on cleaning up a polluted river by sabotaging the chemical plant where he works. Tony Perkins, Tuesday Weld are the stars, and they pretty much twist into each other's lives in Pretty Poison. That's the CBS Tuesday night movie at 9:30, 8:30 Central Time.
The Vikings have taken a timeout. They have 2 remaining. And Tarkenton, Jack, we saw, as you see him over there talking to Bud Grant and Jerry Burns, we saw Tarkenton take them the length of the field, the Vikings, against Denver earlier this year in 36 seconds. So he can do it, but he's faced with a 3rd and short yardage. He's got to get the first down first.
Oh, it's 3rd down. About 3 yards to go.
Tarkenton likes to throw to his backs. He's been throwing to them all day long.
Aaron Arrow's caught 7 passes thus far in this game. Tarkenton 12 out of 20 so far in his total passing attempts versus completions. Rolling out to the right, he whistles one, and that winds up in the crowd. The crowd composed of Mike Wagner, who was fighting John Beasley, the tight end, for possession of the ball.
A little half rollout once again. Looked like Oscar Reed was open, but he went downfield to one of his favorite targets, Beasley, and Mike Wagner made a good block.
Oh, Mike Eyeshide has come on to punt for the Minnesota Vikings. 1 minute and 21 seconds remaining in the first half. Well, we've got Mike Wagner going deep. Time is called now by Minnesota. That uses up another one. They have 1 remaining in the 121 that remains in this ball game. And now Wagner, who was back deep, is coming over near the sidelines, getting a little advice from the bench. Meantime, across the field, there's a look at the Minnesota Vikings bench, and in the dark jacket on the sidelines, Minnesota coach Bud Grant. Now they've changed their mind, taken Eyeshide out. That was the reason for the timeout, and a 50-yard attempt is going to be tried by Fred Cox. A 50-yard field goal attempt.
No good. No way.
No good. Touchback in the end zone. And the Steelers will take over 1st and 10 on the 20. Second quarter. Score now at 7-3 with 1 minute and 14 remaining in that second quarter. The Steelers out in front.
And to the Steeler fans, that all-important game, Buffalo versus Cleveland, Mike Phipps has just scored, thrown a pass, 13 yards for a TD, and it's now 10-10.
Bradshaw at his own 20-yard line. Bradshaw on a quarterback sneak surprises the Minnesota Vikings and almost gets a first down. Knocked it out there just short of the 30. Roy Winstone, the linebacker, making the tackle.
You can see the wide gap in the defensive tackles. Number 50, Jim Clack, opens up the hole. You can bet your bottom dollar that Chuck Knoll on the sidelines, before he set Bradshaw in, said, don't put that ball up in the air.
Clock is running. There's the time ticking off on the Mammoth scoreboard. Bradshaw gives to Fuqua. Fuqua around the corner, and he gets across the 35 to be grounded at the 36-yard line. Steelers, remember, are leading in this game 7-3 as we near the end of the half. Jeff Seaman, middle linebacker, and Charlie West, the cornerback, combining on the stop. First down. 1st and 10 at the 36 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now the Steelers have used a timeout here. They have 2 remaining. Versus 1 for the Vikings. The 1 for the Vikings academic now as we get into close to the final half minute of this ball game. And the Steelers crowding up now along the sidelines. And Shanklin coming out wide to the right. Frank Lewis wide to the left. Harris, Buqua, the running backs. 1st and 10. They're at their own 36. Franco Harris had to stop. Can't quite get it going yet. And Charlie West bulldozes him out of bounds. Number 40. That'll stop the clock with 26 seconds left. Boy, when they show you the seconds remaining, when it gets down to the final countdown, they really do it here at Three Rivers Stadium, George.
They sure do.
They leave the little clock indicator and go over to the big board, and there it is, 26 seconds remaining in the half.
Great defensive play that time by the left linebacker, Roy Winston. He read run all the way and came in and piled up that interference and got the ball carrier, too.
4-yard loss. It's 2nd down and 14 yards to go for the Steelers. And Bradshaw's going to throw one now. There's his peg. Ron Shanklin has it. He is across the 40. That's enough for a 1st down. And now the Steelers come up from that pileup, signaling timeout.
There's that pass over the middle to Shanklin. He's going for that 1st down yardage, and he has it. Well, he doesn't have it. It's 3rd down now. He got good yardage.
Oh, that's right. Looking at the wrong yardstick there. It was 2nd and 14, and they moved it out now to the 41, which will make it 3rd down and about 5. 3rd and 5. That's the first pass caught by Ron Shanklin, who came into this game as their leading pass receiver. He had 32 catches coming into this game, so that gives him a total on the year of 33. 3 for 10 are the totals on Terry Bradshaw. Completions versus attempts. Bradshaw looking long, and Shanklin is the target again, and he was out of bounds. Both feet were not in bounds. Stops the clock with 11 seconds remaining.
Good protection by the Steeler offensive line here, and let's see if he's got his feet in or out. There's 1 foot in, and the other one was out. Once again, the officials are right, Jack.
Oh, Bob Alden punting now. An attempt to block. The ball is allowed to roll by Bryant, and it's not going to make it into the end zone. First touching by the Steelers was around the 6-yard line, and now coming down there, an attempt to pick up that ball and run it by Wally Hilgenberg, which was a very smart maneuver had he gotten away from it. Once Pittsburgh touched that ball, it was technically a kicking violation, and he could pick it up and run without worrying about fumbling, but he didn't make it. And as the argument persisted, time ran out, and the first half has come to an end. Oh, the teams head up the field now into the dressing room to figure out what they can do in the second half. That's the end of the first half with the score, Pittsburgh 7 and Minnesota 3.
When you give somebody a camera, remember, the real fun isn't the camera, it's the pictures. And pictures of a good time aren't any fun until you see them. But pictures like this make the good time itself even better. And that's why Polaroid calls this the good time camera. It's only $24.95, strictly color, and it uses Polaroid's less expensive square film, so you can take enough pictures for everybody. That's another reason we call it the good time camera. You have some money left to have a good time.
This is a main bearing job, about $200.
And this is a Fram oil filter. It's about $4. Now, if the guy who owns this car had put $4 into one of these when he had his oil changed, chances are he wouldn't be putting $200 into one of these. Well, choice is yours. You can pay me now or pay me later.